Here's a compound inequality that is an OR. Okay, so we've seen ands, now we're going to see an OR. And this compound inequality can fit either category. X is less than 3 or x is greater than 7. So the solution is already done because the x's are already solved for. Let's see what it looks like on a graph. We need to find our important points, 3 and 7. And now I'm going to shade x is less than 3 in orange. Here's everything less than 3. And I'm going to shade x is greater than 7 in green. Greater than 7. And now, unlike an and, they don't need to fit both categories. They can fit just one category. Okay, so think about this. Like, hey, if you're under 3 or if you're greater than 7, come with me. And that would be everybody here in the orange and everybody here in the green. But if it's an and, they'd have to be under 3 and greater than 7 at the same time. So if it's an or, you're going to take everything you see from this category. You're also going to take everything you see from this category. Okay, so this is what your graph looks like. You're shading in everything less than 3 and go all the way back, shade in that arrow to negative infinity. You're shading everything greater than 7 and shade in that arrow. You're going all the way to positive infinity. Now, what about at the 3 and at the 7? You look up, right? If it is less than, it's a parenthesis. And if it's greater than, it's also going to be a parenthesis. Okay, we put a bracket if it has that little equal to line underneath. Now this is the graph. Usually this is going to be multiple choice. But for interval notation now, I have two different intervals. I have this interval and I have this interval. And I'm going to put the two intervals and I'm going to combine them with the union symbol, a big U. Now, my first interval on the left, I need to put where it starts and where it ends. So when I look at this interval, from left to right, where does it start? Well, it starts at negative infinity. So it starts at negative infinity and it goes all the way to 3. And now I look at my next interval and it starts at 7 and goes all the way to positive infinity. And if you do your graph like mine and you do it correctly, everything's just going to come down. Negative infinity to 3, 7 to positive infinity. Right? You have your parentheses there. And remember, infinities always get a parenthesis. Negative infinity, positive infinity always gets a parenthesis because they're not real numbers. And this is your interval notation.